Celebration. Tonight, they're being remembered, and the reaction from Chicagoans preparing for their own celebrations.
But first, we're following breaking news out of the South Side. 2 people killed and 3 people hurt in a home invasion. Police are calling this a targeted crime.
It all happened near 78th and Exchange in the South Shore neighborhood. Tonight, Eric Hong reports from the scene.
Police giving few details this evening, but say this does not appear to have been a random act of violence, that it was the result of a targeted home invasion, though investigators at this time declining to give a possible motive.
We're investigating any relationship between any victims and offenders at this time, but it is very, very preliminary in this investigation.
Police say they were called around 1:45 p.m. to an apartment in this building in the 2900 block of East 78th Street. Inside, a grisly discovery: 2 adults found shot to death and 2 others critically wounded. Police say a third victim, who was also hit by gunfire, fled the shooting and ended up at this McDonald's near 79th and Yates.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that. Normally, I walk this block every morning to go down to the beach and take a walk in, and you never hear anything happening over here, but down the street, there's quite a lot of activity going on down there.
Police have declined to say how the victims are related as they canvass the neighborhood for witnesses and possible surveillance video.
The crime scene, of course, will be taking pictures, video, as well as recovering any specific evidence from the scene that would link these offender or offenders to this heinous crime.
This evening, police say they're searching for multiple offenders. In the meantime, the 3 surviving victims are all listed in critical condition at University of Chicago Hospital. In South Shore, Eric Hong, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Eric, thank you for that update tonight. Also, investigators searching for a motive after a mass shooting at a Lunar New Year celebration in California.
It is the largest mass shooting in Los Angeles County history. 11 people have now died after a victim died in the hospital today. 9 were hurt in the shooting, and it all happened at a dance hall. Investigators are searching the home of the gunman and found a rifle and hundreds of rounds of ammunition.
And tonight, we're learning more about the victims and hearing from survivors. ABC's Rena Roy joining us live tonight from Monterey Park in California with the latest there. Rena.
Well, Karen and Cheryl, we spoke to a survivor earlier today who tells us he thought he was hearing fireworks for the Lunar New Year celebration, but he later learned they were actually gunshots. Some of the people that he was dancing with moments before, right here in this dance studio behind us, were killed right in front of him. 65-year-old May Nan loved going to Star Dance Studio in Monterey Park, California on weekends. But unfortunately, Saturday was her last dance.
She actually decided to leave early that night and come home to set up for Lunar New Year the next day. It's an event we were all looking forward to as a family, because we spent the past 3 weeks grieving for my grandmother.
Police say she was one of 11 killed when 72-year-old alleged gunman Hu Can Tran opened fire during a Lunar New Year celebration.
I heard the sound like a bullet.
Investigators searching the suspect's home to identify a motive.
We recovered 1 .308 caliber rifle, numerous electronic devices such as cell phones, computers, etc. Items that lead us to believe the suspect was manufacturing homemade firearm suppressors.
Authorities say about 20 minutes after the massacre, the suspect entered a second dance hall in neighboring Alhambra. 26-year-old Brandon Say wrestling a semi-automatic assault pistol away from him before he could injure anyone else.
I realized I needed to get the weapon away from him, disarm him, or else everybody would have died.
SWAT teams surrounding the suspect in this white van on Sunday before police say he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Tran appears to have been a professional truck driver for at least 20 years and a regular at both dance studios, according to a longtime acquaintance. And the city has opened a crisis resource center to help people cope and offer any assistance they may need in moving forward. Karen, Cheryl.
Rena, how are the victims being remembered in the community tonight?
Yeah, so we've been seeing memorials pop up all across town, including here at the scene and at the Monterey Park City Hall. People have been coming by to leave flowers and candles just to pay their respects. There's also a vigil being held tonight in honor of the victims.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. What a tragic story. Thank you for sharing it for us tonight from California. And back here closer to home, Asian Americans in the Chicago area are on edge over the attack in California.
That's right. Lunar New Year celebrations are planned for later this week in several neighborhoods. Race and culture reporter Will Jones shows us how a community is coming together to support each other in the face of a tragedy.
As Chicagoans prepare for Lunar New Year celebrations in the Chinatown and Uptown neighborhoods, safety is even more of a priority following the mass shooting at a Lunar New Year gathering in Monterey Park, California over the weekend.
There will be a visible presence and then there will be an invisible presence as well.
Uptown restaurant owner Kelly Chang has been helping out with the planning for the Argyle Lunar New Year parade.
We don't want anyone to feel like it's not safe out here. It is. It's a very fun event. We want people to come and enjoy themselves.
Although the deadly shooting does not appear to be racially motivated, DePaul University psychology professor Annie Saul says Asian Americans across the country were already on edge about their safety.
Because of this heightened violence that Asian Americans have experienced, particularly since the start of the pandemic, our communities are raw and our communities are on edge and have been for a very, very long time.
The Midwest Asian Health Association, based in Chinatown, is ready to respond to anyone who needs mental health support.
We certainly provide crisis management services in situations like this, and we work really closely with our community partners.
Alderwoman Nicole Lee, whose ward includes Chinatown, says the victims of the Monterey Park shooting won't be far from mind during this weekend's New Year celebrations.
The best way to honor them really is to continue to gather and celebrate. Not to celebrate their loss, but to celebrate, in their honor, and not allow fear to sort of overtake our ability to be a community.
Will Jones, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Well, thank you for that. The Highland Park City Council is working to find a permanent way to honor the victims of the 4th of July mass shooting there. The City Council meeting tonight. The council is expected to address creating a specific panel to draft recommendations while also hearing from the public. Mayor Nancy Rotering also delivering her State of the City address tonight.
We've been impressed and we've been inspired, but not surprised by the way in which staff have served our community during this difficult time, with many going above and beyond their usual scope to respond to the tragedy and at the same time ensuring that day-to-day city business continued with minimal interruption.
The city says it will maintain the temporary memorial place at the Rose Garden near City Hall until a permanent one is established. City officials say no decisions will be made tonight on design or location.
Several congressmen and women are calling out DuPage County Sheriff James Mendrick for his refusal to enforce the state's new assault weapons ban. The group gathered today saying Sheriff Mendrick should resign if he is not going to follow the new law. They say his position is dangerous and unconstitutional.
We can't wait another minute for the sheriff to do his duty because lives depend on it.
When I call for 911, it's the sheriff's office that comes to my home. It's very concerning to me that I have a sheriff who doesn't think he needs to enforce this law.
Sheriff Mendrick issued a statement today saying, quote, "There's absolutely nothing that we are doing or not doing that would make a mass shooting more accessible in DuPage County."
We're going to change gears on this Monday as we start another work week together, looking at a live picture of the city. It's beautiful out there, a little chilly, 28 degrees at 7:09, of course, the hour of power, but it snowed over the weekend, but we saw something today. You had to dust off your shades and sunglasses. Yes. They had cobwebs on them because we had not used them in so long. It was nice to see the sunshine today. Greg Dutcher in tonight to talk about the ABC7 AccuWeather forecast. Happy Monday, Greg.
You joke, but I actually pulled like my Ray-Bans out of the bottom of my stuff, and I had to like blow off all of the dust that was in my backpack on the case.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We did get some sunshine. It was absolutely fantastic to see. Right now, though, cloudy skies are taking over. That's a good thing for our low temperatures. It'll help hold them in check during the overnight. And if anything, actually, some of these temperatures have gone up. McHenry is down to 23. It's now up to 25 degrees. It's 24 out in Hampshire, 24 degrees in Yorkville. We got some lower 30s out there, 30 Gary, 30 Oak Lawn, 32 degrees out in Joliet. Not bad for overnight lows, because that's exactly what you're seeing. The temperature aren't going to crater into the single digits. Far from it. If anything, our temps will hang right around 30 or so degrees during the overnight. Mid to upper 30s as daytime highs tomorrow. A quick little bump of just a few degrees. Again, pretty cloudy, but a system arrives late on Tuesday, early Wednesday, and that will cause some snow for the Wednesday morning commute and perhaps even Wednesday evening. We'll have that full forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Greg. We kept talking about we haven't seen a lot of snow. Well, it's going to be coming again. We have some breaking news we're updating out of Iowa. 2 students are dead and an adult has serious injuries after a shooting at a school in Iowa. The Des Moines school helps at-risk youth. Police say the shooting was targeted. Police stopped a car a couple of miles away from the school and took 3 suspects into custody.
Now to Tennessee, where prosecutors say the family of Tyree Nichols has seen the video of the moments that led up to his death in Memphis, but that video has not been released to the public. Nichols died in a hospital 3 days after the incident earlier this month. It came after a confrontation with Memphis police during a traffic stop. His family says the video shows him being brutally beaten by the officers.
All my son was trying to do was get home. He was less than 80 yards away when they murdered him.
The Memphis Police Department has fired the 5 officers involved in the arrest for using excessive force or failing to intervene and render aid.
A van stolen over the weekend from a Rockford funeral home has been recovered in Chicago, but Rockford police say the body of an adult male that was inside the van is now missing. Rockford police tweeted that the van was stolen Saturday. It was later located on Chicago's South Side yesterday. The van belongs to the Collins and Stone Funeral Home. This afternoon, Rockford police released pictures of the person they say is the suspected van thief. So far, he remains at large.
A Chicago Fire Department paramedic is now off the job. His superiors say he failed to take care of a patient who later died. That patient, 44-year-old Leonardo Guerrero, was pronounced dead at Thorpe Memorial Hospital on August 31st. He stopped breathing while he was strapped to a stretcher. The fire department looked at a body cam video from a police officer who was there. Its investigation found the paramedics violated several protocols. The death was ruled a homicide. Paramedic Dakota Ibrahim was fired. His fellow paramedic, Joseph Schultz, was suspended.
The jury pool for the Delphi, Indiana murder trial will come from one of 2 counties. The defense and prosecution agreed on either Allen County or St. Joseph County, but the trial is still expected to happen in Carroll County. Richard Allen is accused of killing Abby Williams and Libby German back in February of 2017.
Well, there is a new effort to ask homeowners and block clubs to help keep an eye on postal workers to help them keep them safe. Well, this comes after several robberies and attacks in recent weeks. Congressman Danny Davis led this morning's event to discuss Operation Letter Carrier Safe Passage, an initiative to get residents involved. The president of the National Association of Letter Carriers says the violence needs to stop.
Now the letter carriers are traumatized. They're scared. They're not knowing what's going to happen day to day. And the customers are our biggest asset. They can help us. And we are happy to do our jobs. We just want to work safe.
We have been told that an ordinance will be introduced to City Council to move cluster mailboxes off the streets and into buildings.
And now to the Chicago mayoral race. Mayor Lori Lightfoot is releasing her own polling information tonight that shows her in the lead, and one of her biggest challengers is falling behind. ABC7 political reporter Craig Wall is in the newsroom and has details of the poll and what some of the candidates are saying.
Yeah, Mayor Lightfoot almost forced to release the poll to counter one that came out last week that showed her in 4th place. She expressed confidence that she'll make it out of the first round of that election that is now 5 weeks away. Mayor Lori Lightfoot expressing increasing confidence in her re-election chances today, releasing the results of her own campaign polling conducted January 18th through the 22nd that shows her leading the race with 25%. She's followed closely by a surging Paul Vallis at 22%. Jesus Chuy Garcia, once considered the frontrunner, falling to third at 18%, followed by Willie Wilson at 11% and Brandon Johnson at 9%. They're at 10% undecided.
Look, there's a lot that's going to happen between now and when the polls close on February 28th. We take nothing for granted. We run like we're an underdog, even though we are clearly in the lead.
The mayor says Chicago has become safer and that crime is down. Does anyone in Chicago believe what she says? That's what I say about the poll.
But Lightfoot also going on the attack against Garcia, who sources told ABC is the unnamed member of Congress mentioned in recently filed federal court papers in the Mike Madigan corruption trial.
This is serious business, and it's shocking to me, frankly, that the congressman isn't taking this more seriously.
Do I look like a worried man? Of course not.
Garcia says he's done nothing wrong, has not hired a defense attorney, and is not a target of the investigation.
She is desperate. She is fabricating and trying to spin things that do not exist.
As for the poll, Vallis could be benefiting from a series of ads that have been running on TV this month.
It looks like he's surging. It looks like he's in the game. It looks like he's moving ahead. And this is a crucial time to be able to show supporters and donors that you're in the game.
Paul Vallis certainly rising, but folks, I would love to have Paul Vallis as my runoff challenger. There's a lot that we will say in the coming days, but that's an ideal matchup for us.
Again, this poll is Lightfoot's own survey, so it has to be taken in that light, but the mayor says her numbers are consistent with what she saw a month ago, thus her confidence in the poll. Back to you.
All right, Greg, thank you for that. Now, a former FBI official is out on bond tonight after pleading not guilty to violating U.S. sanctioned laws. He was arrested over alleged ties to a Russian oligarch. Charles McGonigal, who you see in this video from 2018, is one of the highest-ranking members of the FBI to ever face charges.
President Biden is facing criticism again today over those classified documents found at his home and former office. The president was walking past reporters today without stopping to answer questions. Over the weekend, we learned of more classified documents found at Biden's home. The president's attorney revealing the FBI searched the home for nearly 13 hours, finding 6 items consisting of classified records dating back to his time as a U.S. Senator and Vice President.
Oh, back here closer to home, a small town just outside of Kankakee will soon have access to natural gas for the first time. Hopkins Park residents have been heating their homes and cooking with propane, gas, or electricity. Tanks can cost anywhere from $800 to $1,500 to fill and may only last a month. Now, Nicor gas is coming to town thanks to the help from local, state, and federal lawmakers. Construction is already underway to lay down the pipes.
Well, tributes are coming in to longtime Chicago radio personality Lin Brehmer. He passed away yesterday at the age of 68 after a cancer battle.
Here is Stephanie Wade. She shares memories of the legendary radio voice.
It's difficult to describe just what Lin Brehmer meant to Chicago and the local music community.
He was the soundtrack to everyone's morning.
A fixture on radio airwaves since 1991, the legendary DJ at WXRT quickly became a fan favorite.
There was not a rock and roller like Lin Brehmer who could rock with the best of them and then just off the top of his head recite poetry and prose.
Through his sense of humor, upbeat personality, love for food, theater, and of course, music.
I was thinking about that woman.
Brehmer was also known for his Cubs fandom. His name displayed on the marquee at Wrigley Field yesterday after the radio personality passed away at the age of 68 following a long battle with prostate cancer. The rock station hosting a celebration of life program today in his honor.
We have come to pay tribute to our best friend in the whole world, Lin Brehmer.
And he was to so many people in so many different ways.
Standing outside a Lakeview bar where Brehmer was beloved, decades-long co-workers reflect on their dear friend.
A couple months before he passed away, I was able to spend a few minutes with him in his apartment, and he had just been dropped off a bag of letters from listeners. Someone from the station had given him, and he was overwhelmed and joyful. And it's what kept him going.
Listeners weren't just his fans, but his friends. I can attest to that. I had the pleasure of interning for him at WXRT in 2014.
He was all ears, and like you said, he made you feel heard, and he really did. He cared.
I'm Lin Brehmer, your best friend in the whole world.
Listening to WXRT this morning, I heard some of Terry Hemmert's reactions and just memories, and so heartfelt. Definitely, he touched so many people.
I know, and I loved how he lived his life, because he said, no regrets. Don't take life for granted. Live, you know, if any of us can just take away from that, lived your best life because of the way he lived his life. And he did make you feel like he was your best friend in the whole wide world. Yeah. And that's a really good feeling, to wake up and listen to him and start your day like that, feeling loved. And his memory and legacy will live on, and all of us who were huge fans of his.
Yeah, and so knowledgeable too about music. He will be missed.
In Chicago, in restaurants,
yeah.
And a kind soul.
Yes.
He will be missed, and he is loved. All right, Greg, the sun has set at this hour, of course, but we've been talking about it because it was MIA. You know, we had an APB out on it, and
it finally came out. It was so nice to see that the giant bright orb in the sky. I don't even know what it was.
What? A bird? A plane? Oh no, it's the sun.
and so often this time of year, when you get the sunshine, it actually ends up being kind of a cooler day, as we saw. But I mean, the sun, don't get me wrong, like great to see it again. Now that we have a bit more cloud cover in place, although not super thick cloud, I mean, you can see some pinpricks of sky out there. It will provide us here, the thin clouds, with a bit of warmth during the overnight. In fact, we have warmed up already. Winds out of the southwest going to help with that too. Right now, 14 miles per hour for those wind speeds. I expect those winds to stay at about 15 to 20 miles per hour during the overnight, maybe even gusting up to 30. And that'll help out because right now temperatures have departed from where they were yesterday by about a handful of degrees, a noticeable amount, and that's putting us in about the lower 20s at the coolest right now, 23 at Woodstock, 24 in DeKalb, but a lot of these temps since sunset have actually climbed a degree or two, partially due to the southwesterly wind, partially due to those cloud cover, keeping that heat in from the daytime heating that we had, kind of acting as a little bit of a blanket, maybe a thin sheet, I guess, over us. Now, one thing I am tracking here is the tail end of this little system, bringing some snow to Green Bay, into northern Michigan as well. Now, of course, the bulk of that is not going to make it south, and it even doesn't look that great through the Green Bay area, but there could be some little pockmarks, as you see here, late in Futurecast. Kind of see how it paints those ribbons of snowflakes in during the overnight hours, and that could potentially put some flurries out there, maybe making the roads a bit on the slippery side for early tomorrow morning. Other than that, check out this temperature. It is just rock steady. all night long, upper 20s, lower 30s, basically where those temps are now, if not climbing a couple of degrees from where they are right now. Now, tomorrow's high temperature, really not going to go too far because of those clouds. Winds will stay out of the west, not quite southwesterly. So let's put it at 35. That is still warmer than normal. It's another above normal day for the month, and something that is not exactly, I guess, out of the ordinary for January. If anything, it's a little on the warmer side of things. But we got to watch our next system. This is the satellite imagery that I have up, but this is a different channel than you normally see. You may notice the kind of different looking colors. This is the water vapor, so kind of sandier colors, drier air, whiter and bluer colors, the wetter air. And what I want to show you here is this low that is starting to spin itself across the southern four corner states over Arizona. That is our weather maker for the coming days. You can basically track its forecast just by looking at the winter weather alerts that we have out ahead of this system. And this is kind of a testament to how good the weather forecasting is nowadays. That low isn't even showing up on the radar yet, just the satellite. And we know it's going to track out of the southern Rockies, make its way through Texas, into Oklahoma, and then off to our south. That's why we got the winter weather watches going off to our south now. And the bulk of that system will indeed, as you notice it, finally emerging from the Rocky Mountains and producing precipitation. Most of this will be off to our south, but we are still on the northern edge and we are still slated to get some snowfall. That snow starting early Wednesday morning for your Wednesday morning drive and continuing potentially with some scattered flurries into Thursday. How much are we getting out of that for the middle of the week? I think about 1 to 3 inches for Chicago, but there's a chance that we could see up to 4 inches here, and some of those weather models are on the higher end. I'd throw this one out at 5.5 inches. I think that's a little bit excitable, but again, about 2 inches to 4 inches is where I'm going and where most of the weather models are going. So that's going to be in the forecast, your AccuWeather alert day for our Wednesday. A few more scattered snow showers Friday into Saturday. I think some more snow in that Saturday forecast, and we could end up by the end of the 7-day forecast, seeing 6-7 inches of snow. That's grand total over a long period, but we really do get nickeled and dimed there Friday through Sunday.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah,
haven't
right?
had any in a while, and now we're going to make up for it.
This is...
Yeah, it's got a red alert there and everything.
Yeah.
What's going on?
And finally, because I have a snowblower that I paid good money for that I haven't gotten to use yet. So I'm going to be out there motoring.
Ulterior motives.
Oh, yeah. Yep, exactly.
Everybody in the neighborhood, too. You're just going to be mowing.
Right. You got to do everybody's now that it's new,
I will.
Greg. Okay. Absolutely. I'm sure you've used this term before in many ways. Take it outside. Yeah, that's the theme of a new contest hosted by the Will County Forest Preserve Districts.
And you could win cash prizes. All you have to do is download the free Goose Chase app and create a profile. Okay. Weekly challenges will be posted on the app. You receive points for completing missions such as taking photos and answering trivia questions. The top 3 players with the most points will take home cash prizes.
I think Greg should do the snowblower challenge.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, I wonder if he has a name. Isn't the city like naming the plows, the snow plows around the city? I wonder if Greg does have a name for his snow plow.
Some of them were very creative. Yeah, we'll have to put him on the spot. See if he's...
We'll ask him next time he does a weather hit tonight. Well, Brookfield Zoo is offering you a chance to adopt penguins. Yes, for Valentine's Day is right around the corner, everybody. Valentino was born on Valentine's in 2011, and the zoo calls him and Patty a power couple and says they have raised 4 chicks of their own and fostered several others. Now, once again, the zoo is also offering a chance to name a cockroach. Yeah, in honor of that unspecial person on Valentine's Day, $15 for a donation. Would you do that? I know.
I don't know. No.
You don't have time, right? It's like you moved on.
Yes.
Like you moved on. You don't have time to think about people who have negative energy in your life.
Right. Let alone,
right.
Donate $15 for that. If it's unless it's for a good cause.
Right.
But you're right. That's a lot of negative energy.
I know, right? To actually go to the website and who would it be for? I mean, I don't know. You can't harbor the people who made you mad. Like
poor cockroach.
Yeah.
Like don't put that on
me.
Right.
It's like they get a bad rap. All right, unless you dip them in chocolate.
Oh my gosh. Well, gas prices are rising again. How Illinois compares to the rest of the country ahead.
Plus, saving for retirement. The big difference a little bit can make when you start younger.
Spotify is the latest tech company to announce layoffs. The streaming service announces it's cutting around 600 jobs, and that's about 6% of Spotify's global workforce. The company's CEO says costs last year grew at double the rate of its revenue growth.
And saving for retirement when you first start working can pay off in the long run, even if you just save a small amount. Consumer investigator Jason Knowles explaining tonight how waiting to invest can cost you big time.
Hi, everybody. Here's a quick Gen Z savings tip. Bankrate.com says nearly 1 in 3 Gen Z workers are not actively saving for retirement. The move could ultimately cost them hundreds of thousands in retirement savings. Inflation and reduced income can be challenging factors, but experts say you can still save even if it is a small amount. For example, a 22-year-old worker who starts investing about $5,000 a year in a 401k or similar investment with about an 8% return could end up with almost $1.3 million at age 62. But if you don't start investing until 32 years old, it could cost you more than $700,000. If you're just getting started, buy a diversified portfolio, add funds regularly, and hold on to the investments through good times and bad, and wait for that long-term payoff. Jason Knowles, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you, Jason. Well, gas prices are rising again. AAA blames higher demand and an increase in oil prices. Illinois is one of the top 10 most expensive states for a gallon of gas, jumping 34 cents in the last month to an average of $3.56 a gallon. Prices here in the city are now just below $4 at $3.97 a gallon, and a little over 30 cents cheaper in the suburbs, where the average is now $3.65 a gallon. And the national average is up 33 cents from 1 month ago to an average of $3.42 a gallon.
Well, you won't be seeing the M&M spokes candies as much anymore. Recent changes to the character sparking some backlash, including new shoes and a new purple spokes candy. But the company says that's not why it is dropping the candies. M&M has been in negotiations with Maya Rudolph for a while, and now she is officially signed on to be the candy spokesperson. So you can look for her ads coming your way in the future. And she is so talented and funny.
She is.
So it's, you know, it's going to be very comical the way she sells it if she's a part of the creative process for the ads. So.
I think so. You see her popping up all over the place. I'm happy about that for sure. Well, someone finally won the Mega Millions earlier this month, but now the Powerball is climbing. The estimated jackpot for tonight's drawing is $502 million. Again. It's approaching the top 10 Powerball jackpots of all time.
See, some people are like, that's not enough. They're waiting for the billion mark, right? Like last time. Did you play, Karen, when it was a billion? You didn't?
I didn't.
Oh, wow.
But I know you got to play to win, and you know, yeah. Oh, well, here I am.
500 million is a lot. I guess take home be around 300. You could live off of that for a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
It's college is paid for.
Right, you got college to go.
Yes.
All right, I think it's tomorrow is the first one coming up for tomorrow's the drawing. But tonight's
Tonight
Powerball.
is the Powerball,
Oh,
so
well.
there's still chance tonight.
Okay, tomorrow's Mega Millions. See, I get it mixed up, though. I'll take all of the above. But a boost for children in the hospital.
Ahead tonight, the big donation that's making Chicago proud.
Plus, the Chicago Restaurant Week heating up. Some suburban communities are hosting their own food weeks. Well, tomorrow, scientists will unveil the latest edition of the Doomsday Clock.
The Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists created the clock in 1947. It's supposed to show how close the world is to Armageddon. The closer to midnight, the closer impending doom is. The first edition of the clock was 7 minutes from midnight. In 2020, the clock was 100 seconds from midnight. Some scientists believe that the clock could move closer to midnight, due in part to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Oh, wow.
I know, just the name, Doomsday.
Doomsday.
It bothers me. So, and there was something out last week that if you knew how long you had to live, would you want to know how long it was?
You know, that is such a good question. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Ideally, you would want to live every day to its fullest.
Right.
Because I think you might be obsessing about that end date.
Right. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want the date. I don't want to know anything. I just want to keep going.
Yeah.
And live
That's
and
a
just
good way.
enjoy life. Yeah. I don't want to know. But there is a new tool to help people who are struggling to find food. The Northern Illinois Food Bank unveiling its digital food finder map. The food bank works with a network of 900 food pantries, and you can put in your zip code to find the ones closest to where you live or work.
There's a new effort to boost tourism in Chicago's neighborhoods. Choose Chicago has received more than $5 million in grant money. It'll be used for social media marketing, cleanup projects, and new signage. The city will also create a program to train tour operators on the south and west sides.
And all the talk has been about Chicago's Restaurant Week, but there is also deliciousness out in the western suburbs. Westmont Restaurant Week, well, that's happening now too, with 23 restaurants offering special menus and dining meals. The DuPage County town is about 23 miles west of Chicago and known for its international food flair. Some restaurant owners say it is their favorite time of the year.
We often say you can dine around the world because we have so many different cuisines. We've got fast casual all the way up to fine dining, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's just so many things that you can enjoy.
Yeah, it looks like it was right on that table right there. Westmont Restaurant Week, it runs all this week until Sunday. I'm reading slow. Look at that, shrimp and ribs and macaroni and cheese, green beans and baked beans.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, mashed potatoes and cornbread. Okay.
Put Westmont in your GPS and just head out there. Put on
that
your
meal right
pants.
there. Oh, it's the dinner hour anyway, right?
Yes, it sure
So we're always
is.
hungry. All right, we're making Chicago proud on this Monday night. A very special donation to Comer Children's Hospital.
This morning, the Little Bricks charity dropped off thousands of dollars worth of Lego sets for young patients.
This month, we raised almost $4,000 just here in Chicago, and also another couple thousand through TikTok. And that is how we got all of these amazing Lego sets on our trip up here to Chicago.
Well, Lego sets are typically the toys kids request most while in the hospital. And I can see why. It's very therapeutic. My son loves Legos.
Yeah.
And when you can complete a kit, it's such a sense of accomplishment, and it takes your mind off of whatever it is you have going on.
What's the biggest one he's created that you can think of?
Right now, just big cars. He loves cars.
Oh, really?
So big
Okay.
sports cars, muscle cars, all in little Legos.
So I know you guys are going to the auto show then coming up.
Yes, that is on the plan.
And the gentleman who donated, according to Guinness Book of Records, he walked more times on his bare feet on Legos than anybody in the world. And I said, most parents have done that without knowing they're setting records too, right? So
Legos, Play-Doh, any little thing on the carpet, and you don't see them, they're hiding.
Yeah, well, that was a great thing that he did too, a great charitable offering as well. And like you said, I know the children are so happy to be creative too. Well, honored by Hollywood. Okay, Michael Strahan, we see you. He's now part of the Walk of Fame. We will have the highlights from today's ceremony just ahead. But first, let's check in with another really famous person. He's been hanging out with Michael Strahan many times, right, Greg?
Well, you want to know the first time I hung out with Michael Strahan?
Never.
22 years ago.
What? Oh, do tell. Okay, you tell us.
I rented him a wave runner, a jet ski.
What?
Yeah, when he played for the Giants. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yes.
We'll also talk about the snow coming up after.
So many jobs Greg has done.
Right?
I tell you, man of many talents. Good morning, America. Co-anchor Michael Strahan is now, well, he is a star, but now he has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He's being honored in the sports and entertainment category.
Congratulations to him. We get the story from Christiane Cordero, who's at today's ceremony.
What does an NFL Hall of Famer, a game show host, and a Peabody Award-winning journalist have in common? Well, they're all one person. Michael Strahan today has blazed yet another trail with the first star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame dedicated in the sports entertainment category. His star.
It's surreal. Who thinks growing up that you're going to have this happen in your life? And especially when you're in the sports world and next thing you know, you're on a Walk of Fame in Hollywood.
His legacy, rooted in football, has evolved to show he is a giant in more ways than one. Just look at the people around him. GMA's Robin Roberts, plus actor and former NFL player Terry Crews, to name two. Soon after winning the 2007 Super Bowl and after appearing in 7 Pro Bowls, Strahan became a prominent voice in sports media while finding his voice in other arenas too, hosting Good Morning America, writing a book, launching a brand, and
I figured I'd have to go to space to be with the stars, but I guess not. Could have saved myself a trip.
having a lot of fun along the way.
I just wanted to say, April Fools. Come on, man!
His secret, staying true to who he is.
Different personalities of who I am, but all really authentic. And I think that's what has really helped me build a career and helped me enjoy life and what I'm doing.
And learning who he can be.
It's about being around people who pushed me and guided me when I couldn't even see certain things for myself.
You got a lot of people here today.
Got a lot of people, and everybody from a different aspects and different parts of my life, but everybody has this a same common theme, and that's just being a good person, wanting better for everybody around me.
Congratulations to him.
Right?
You know, and it's so, seems pretty humble, but when you listen to all of his accomplishments,
right,
he is very deserving of that star. Good for him.
And he's changed the game of football too.
Totally.
You know, and he talks about that. He talks about his mom and how she was so instrumental in making sure he was a good person on and off the field. I've had spent some time with him before, and he's a really fun guy, really nice, and he takes his job seriously. I mean, he did a great transition, Karen. You know, a lot of professional athletes, they try it, but he did well.
He did.
So congratulations. He's part of the Disney family, so we love him, and we're proud of him and happy for him for sure.
Keep on
But
thriving.
Greg has met him before us. What's up with that? Greg is his best friend.
Greg has
They're
a
best
little
friends?
bit of, he's teased us with a story that he has
what's
to tell
up
us.
with that?
Something about a jet ski.
I knew him. I knew him when he was still a giant. They had won the NFC that year or whatever, and I lived in upstate New York. And the whole team went up there for their camps. That's where they go. And one of their practices, Collinsworth was or not Collinsworth. Oh my gosh, I forgot their head coach's name. Anyway, somebody will tell me. They were like, "Yep, we're not practicing today. We're gonna go rent jet skis." So they came on down to the marina we worked at, and I rented Strahan, the entire offensive line jet skis, and we rented out some pontoon boats to them, and they just went out and whipped around for a day.
So Greg, how old were you, and was that your summer job or what?
16. Yeah,
16. Okay, your first job, was it?
No, it was. I mean, I washed dishes and stuff like that before.
Okay.
But no, it was one of my many summer jobs on the lake, and yeah, I was running the gas docks at that point and renting boats out, and that was before I sailed boats for a job.
Do we have any receipts?
Wow.
Because I know we didn't have
Yes!
Instagram
Okay.
22 years ago.
Okay. So
we need receipts.
There's no picture receipt, but here's the deal. So I was at GMA, and
Yes.
I'm like, I felt like this was just like a kid memory. I'm like, it could be maybe I'm misremembering it. So I'm like, I need to have closure on this. So I popped in. I'm like, hey, Michael. You didn't happen to ever go up to Lake George, did you? And it's then you're in. You know what I mean?
Right.
He could be like, no, what are you talking about? So yeah, I just had to work up the courage to ask him, and he confirmed everything. So
yeah.
Nice. Oh, and well, hopefully he was approachable. I mean,
he was, but still at the same time, it's when you're
here's another story.
Yeah, here's another story.
Right.
What does this fill-in weather guy want?
Right.
Right.
Did you take a picture with him since you've been going to Good Morning America all the time?
I didn't. I used all my I used all my cachet to ask him if I had actually met him before.
Wow, he personally knows somebody who has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
I basically have one, pretty much.
Yeah, right. It's pretty much your star.
I'm a huge deal.
I saw his star next to him, maybe, right?
Is this my claim to fame now? Is that like I've like read it?
As brilliant as you are a meteorologist, this is all you got now. I mean, you know, your snowplow and your, you know.
What do you think I should nickname?
Yeah, we got to talk about that later on. Okay, let's talk about it. We'll talk about it. Okay?
A lot of clever names. So
yeah, we got to ask your daughters too. So.
Thank you, Greg.
No problem.
Calling out the worst movies of the year. The films nominated for Razzies today.
Plus, did you see this?
Oh,
Beyonce returns to the stage for the first time in nearly 5 years.
Iconic.
Look at, oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay, stay tuned. We're coming back because we got to chat.
Well, tomorrow the Oscar nominations come out in the morning, and of course that lets us know the best in film.
The best of best. Well, today, though, the opposite. The Razzie nominations were announced. Now up for Worst Picture of the Year. Ooh, okay. Blonde. They were talking about she was going to be nominated for an Oscar. Pinocchio, the new Tom Hanks version. Good Mornings, The King's Daughter, and Morbius.
Huh.
Did you see any of those?
I have to say no.
Okay,
I have not seen any of those. The trailer for Pinocchio, I mean, it did seem pretty interesting. It
did look
live
good,
action,
right?
stop
Right.
motion, very interesting take
it did
on
look
Pinocchio.
creative. Well, winners were announced the night before the Oscars, of course. We know the Oscars will be right here on ABC at March 11th, and Karen will be on right after that. Okay, March. Oh, okay, the 11th are the Razzies, and then the 12th will be that Sunday.
Oscars.
Right.
And that's never a dull moment.
No.
As we know, always something we're going to be talking about probably for a whole year afterwards after both of those. So the Oscar nominations, again, will be announced tomorrow morning. You can watch live during Good Morning America. And we will have a full wrap-up of the nominations tomorrow night right here on Eyewitness News at 7 o'clock.
We'll be talking about them because we got to see if you saw any, Karen.
I don't know.
I know, me too. I'm probably
might be behind.
We'll have to see, right? We need to catch up.
Unless it was with the kids, I don't know.
right, kid friendly.
Yeah. Now this is what we really also want to talk about.
Ooh.
Beyonce, is back on stage.
This is why she is Queen Bee. She performed her first full-length live show since 2018 over the weekend. And it was invite only, of course. Look at that. At a new luxury resort in Dubai called the Atlantis The Royal. The 60-minute performance opened with a cover, of course, of Etta James, that song At Last. It included Beyonce's hits, Halo, Crazy in Love, but the show reportedly did not include any of her music from the Renaissance album. That's okay because she's gonna maybe hit the road and perform those. I've been to Dubai. Everything is so opulent there. They have the only 7-star hotel. Did not get an invite to this particular show, but I have been scouring the internet and just the performances, her change of clothes, Blue Ivy.
Blue Ivy was
She
there. They sang a
sang-
duet. It was Brown Skin Girl. It was just so
I love
beautiful
that
to
song,
see.
too.
So yeah, definitely take a look. I mean, just for 1 hour, it was an amazing performance.
I mean, can we see it again, Michelle? Or we got to go to Greg and talk about Greg and Michael Strahan? I guess so. All right. Well, we'll just, let's
There
look
it
at that.
is.
She was raised out of the water. I mean, there were fireworks. There was also fire.
Yeah.
And there was dancing in the water.
Beautiful.
I mean, the last time she was here was 2018 and it was at Soldier Field. I was there with my niece. I gave her that gift for high school graduation present.
Nice.
And water was there too. So we know what we're going to see. She's got a whole new album too.
She does.
It's time.
She does.
It's time, Beyonce. We are waiting for you.
Waiting for the tour, and I know Greg is waiting for us to talk to him about some more possible snow. Not rain, but some actual snow coming on the way as well.
That's right. The snowfall on Wednesday is going to affect not only the morning commute, but potentially even the evening drive too, and perhaps into early Thursday, depending on how long it feels like hanging around. We keep on gaining degrees. 27 was the temperature when we went on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now we're at 29. How does that happen since the sun has set? Well, clouds for one, and also the wind direction for the other. Right now, about 15 to 20 miles per hour. It will be breezy during the overnight, 15 to 30 miles per hour as the highest wind gusts, so that will keep the warmer air moving in and keep our temperatures basically stable, if not climbing a couple of degrees from where they were when the sun did set and when we had our daytime highs too. Our daytime high may well happen before midnight tonight, as in our temperature keeps on warming up until about midnight. Now, our high, I believe, at this point is 30, so we are only a degree off of getting back to that temperature now. In the wider view of the satellite and radar, there are some snow showers here to our north. I wouldn't be surprised if we catch a couple of flurries from those, but quite honestly, I think our temperature hangs steady at about 29 or 30 during the overnight hours. Now, tomorrow will be slightly warmer, temperature up to about 35 degrees there. I'm expecting it to stay dry throughout the daylight hours of tomorrow and potentially even past midnight. Now, this system, it's barely moved on to the west coast. It's in the far southern U.S. out there in Arizona. You can see it kind of swirling away. Right now, kind of on the border of Arizona and Mexico. And this is the path it takes, with winter storm warnings already out for New Mexico, for northern Texas, for central and southern Oklahoma, for northern portions of Arkansas into Missouri, and then this lighter blue, excuse me, that is a winter storm watch, and that is in effect south of us as this system cruises for the most part off to our south. So what I'm expecting is that heaviest snow, 4, 5, 6 inches of snowfall to be off to our south. Now, when does that move in? Well, it looks like late on our Tuesday, early on our Wednesday is when I expect to see that. And then as we get into our Thursday, there could be some lake effect here. See, as that wind changes direction, there's that lake effect potential in the early morning hours of our Thursday. So the real question is, when does the snow finally feel like shutting off? That'll determine our grand totals. Now, right now, the European model is on the lower end of things, and it says between about 1 inch and 2 inches for the city, and then 2 or 3 inches off to the south. Totally reasonable, but some of the other weather models are putting out higher values, and that could easily be attained as those winds turn around to the north and west, and we get dumped down with some lake effect snow. So these 3-4 inch totals, not completely out of the question just yet, but definitely on the higher end of things. Right now, I'm going to go 2 to 4 inches, kind of cover both bases there, and there's additional snow in the forecast, and I didn't want to mention this earlier, but look at the low temp next Monday.
Did you have to?
Oh man, 13
Why don't you stand in front of that while you give us names of your snowplow? Stand in front of Monday next week.
I tried to talk to the kids. They are going to bed, so they couldn't give me. But it's giant and it's red, so why not call it Big Red like the gum?
Oh, Big Red.
That's all I got.
That's good. Or like Chance the Scrapper.
Yes, that's not bad.
Austin Plowers.
Oh, come on. Okay, now you're just making me look silly. Austin Plowers is what I'm going to use.
Right.
Those are awesome.
We can think of something by Wednesday. We'll have something fun when you're actually going to use it. Maybe something will come out of your mouth while you're doing it.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's going to be a plow nickname. We'll see.
All right, Greg. All right, talking to snow and ice and all that, the cold ice warming hearts when a hockey player proposes to his teammate on the ice. You have to see this straight ahead. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We want to share a heartwarming moment from an ice hockey tournament.
Well, two players got engaged at the end of their game. Of course. Oh, yeah, in case you didn't hear, she said, of course. This weekend marked the U.S. Pond Hockey Championships in Minnesota. Matt and Amy met on the ice. Their team hadn't won a single game this year until this weekend, and then they got to celebrate with a big proposal at the end. That's how you do it.
That's a good omen for them, for sure. Aww.
Warm your heart and soul.
Thank you so much for joining us. For Greg Dutra, I'm Karen Jordan.
And I'm Cheryl Burton. Join us tonight over on ABC7 at 10 o'clock. We hope you join us back here tomorrow night at 10, everybody. Good night.